We're going to make Slammin' Ninja Smoke Bombs. To start off, you're going to need some party snaps. You've probably seen these before, little paper-covered poppers that snap when you throw them down. Well, they're pretty harmless, but they're going to be igniting our special smoke mixture. We're also going to need something with a little punch, and I've got a buddy who loads his own ammunition, so he gave me a little black gunpowder. We're also going to need another element. I've got one of these little fire starters made out of magnesium, the kind that you scrape and it sparks. Well, I took my Dremel grinder and grinded off some fine magnesium powder off of this thing. And we're also going to need some plain old sugar. This will add a nice white color to our smoke. I cut about a 5-inch square out of a piece of paper towel, and that's what we're going to wrap everything in. So now back to those snappers. Well, spill out some. We're going to use about 6 or 7 of them, and we're going to break open the paper and just leave the little rocks that come inside those snappers. Bunch them together in the middle of your paper towel, and then mix up the magnesium, gunpowder, and sugar. Mix it up really nice, and dump it in the paper towel on top of the little snapper rocks. Then I folded the paper towel up, made sure it was really nice and tight, and added a little bit of masking tape just to make sure the thing stays together. And now all you need is a ninja. そのキッケシアナタの発煙弾の忍者 Throwing these things to the ground creates a bright flash and a lot of really cool white smoke. You can see in this second slow-mo version how thick the white smoke can get. And that's how to make some slammin' ninja smoke bombs. Click the box on the left to check out more of my hacks, pranks, and how-to projects, and the box on the right for more spark, smoke, and boom.
The real fascination is the extraordinary and unique machinery underneath the stage, geared to produce any number of marvellous effects with a series of traps, and they're all in working order. Here's how the 3 basic traps at the front of the stage work. Well, this is the grave trap at the front centre of the stage, and it actually takes quite a team of people to operate all this machinery. And indeed, below me now are 4 blokes ready to take me down into the grave. The theatre staff have agreed to do a few demonstrations for me, and a whole team has arrived to put the traps through their paces. Well, when all the traps are working, the effect is really quite spectacular, and we're going to stage for you now a special event with 4 of the traps working from the back of the stage. We're going to see reeds rising up out of the depths, followed by some dancers. The shutters and platforms are made ready, and dancers from the Christine Wilde Theatre School take their positions for a bit of theatrical magic.
Platform, please, stand by. Ready?
Well, that was absolutely fantastic. I just love all these stage effects. But those traps are by no means everything that this stage can do. Well, the most spectacular trap of all was the Corsican trap, which was named after a play, The Corsican Brothers, written in the mid-1850s. Now, I won't attempt to explain the plot because it's a complex Victorian melodrama. All you need to know is that it starred two brothers, two twins, one of whom was killed in a duel and who comes back to haunt the other. Now, when he reappears as a ghost, he doesn't come up on a conventional trap, he appears in the Corsican trap. And the way it worked was a roll-top piece of wood along the stage, just like this, and over there was a hole through which his head appeared. The whole stage rolls along, and he's on a little trolley underneath that gradually rises up. First of all, you see his head, and then his whole body is revealed until he gets to here. He can step off and touch his brother. It's a fantastic effect, especially when the lighting is right and there's mist, and it absolutely thrilled the audiences. Well, when the Corsican trap was invented in the beginning of the 19th century, dozens of theatres had it installed. But now, at the beginning of the 21st century, the only surviving one in the world is here in the Gaiety Theatre. And this amazing model shows us precisely how it worked. This shuttering is what we saw on the stage up above, and over there is the actor underneath the stage on the little platform waiting to appear. When the stage crew turn the great drum, his platform is pulled up, the shuttering moves along, and a miracle happens. Let's see. Well, before we actually demonstrate the trap, will you excuse me for just 2 seconds? Ta-da! I thought I should put the actual costume on, because after all, I was killed by a sword in a duel, and this is real blood. Well, all this amazing machinery under here reminds me for all the world of an 18th century sailing ship with all its ropes and block and tackle. And to operate it all, you need a group of 6 fine, strong men. And that's exactly what I've got today. So let's go to it. Final preparations are made with the judicious use of a smoke machine, and I take my place on the platform, ready to be sent up to the stage above.
Trap stand by.
Standing by.
Trap go.
The design is based on immersion, and part of the magic of the theatre is what we can do on stage. We decided to do a mechanical theatre and show the sort of effects we could have expected on stage at this period of time. We're building it now. You see, we are in a 21st century workshop working with 21st century material. We had to take some freedom on structure and on details like this, but the actual scenic elements are very, very close.
The majority of the technicians who worked in the theatre were from the Navy. It was exactly the technology of merchant trading ships, of large sheets of canvas supported on timber batten with spars, cranks, pulleys, counterweights, etc. So the whole stage was a technology of tricks and devices to enable scenes to be changed almost miraculously.
The V&A is so often in the business of presenting real things from history. Nothing from that period of this scale survives. I really relish the opportunity to put myself in that time and try and think like an 18th century designer. King George brought Handel to London. The opera was Rinaldo. It's the story of a crusader. And so they really threw a lot of money into the design, the spectacle of it. We are recreating one scene when we believe all the scenographic and theatrical effects available at the time would have been thrown at the audience to really create a storm.
Even with traditional technique, theatre can be extremely spectacular. Every certain number of minutes, you'll be made aware that the show is going to start and things are going to start to happen on stage.
The interesting thing about 18th century theatre is that there was much more a sense that the actors were in the same architectural volume as their audience, with the scenery acting as this magical background. We've got a galleon ship and mermaids who move on a rail. In between the painted cut-out waves, there's a modelled corkscrew. As that turns, you get the impression of waves receding in the background. And in the correct dimness of light, they can look remarkably realistic.
Obviously.